At first, she was in the village and for a long time was alone. She didn't attend school, nor did she have a father.
I was 7 years old then. I only remember when my mother came into the room and told me something. I don't remember how I reacted. I didn't have any friends. I didn't talk with anyone, only my mother. Perhaps I also spoke with my mother's friends and her acquaintances. Those were the only people I had contact with. I was afraid to lose my mother after my father died. I never left her side. I went with her to the store and was always with her. I always told her that I was afraid of losing her.
Nastya always cried and said, "Mom, please don't die. Don't leave me alone." She was frightened because her father was not around and her mother was addicted to drugs.
Natasha invited me to sit with her. I sat down and she began sharing with me. For a few minutes, I stared straight ahead at one spot. Then I understood that this was real, and tears began to well up. It was terrible. I began to sob. I began to regret that I didn't tell her often enough that I loved her. I began to feel convicted and hurt even more.
When Nastya lost her mother, I could relate to her in her situation. I lost my mother when I was 22 years old. My mother was ill for a long time and was so addicted that sometimes she would sleep on park benches.
I stopped smiling. I simply began to cry. And the girls showed me their support. Natasha, Oya, and some of the brothers all supported me. Natasha spoke to me about spiritual values and I began to feel more calm. She said that I have a strong spirit and I'll overcome this situation. As the morning session began, I felt that Yeshua put his hand on my back and I experienced the warmth of his touch. I fell to my knees and began thanking him for everything he had done in my life. Natasha approached me, hugged me, and we just stood like that for about 20 or 30 minutes. After that, one sister, a prayer warrior, came to me and began quietly praying for me. She put her hand on me and said to Natasha, "God says that I need to calm down and not pay attention to anything else other than him."
She said, "Natasha, I acquired a family. I lost my mother and understandably I must go through the grieving process. But she must understand that now she is not alone, not abandoned, and the fear of being orphaned has left her."
Ekhad is my family. It is real. Natasha, Oya, and the brothers, they are all family to me. I love them very much. They support me and I'm so grateful to them.
We really desire more goodness and light in the world. Childhood is not a diagnosis. Rather, it is a period of life where every child has the right to a bright future, regardless of whatever situation they currently find themselves in. Therefore, we're working towards making sure that each child feels no worse than their peers, but that they also feel protected, needed, fed, and that they have as many positive childhood experiences as possible.
My uncle was once a believer, but he abandoned his faith. An acquaintance of his saw me and wanted to introduce himself. He asked Dima if I wanted to go to the summer camp and spend my summer there. He asked me what I wanted to do. I answered, I wouldn't say no. I like summer camps. It's a peaceful experience. So I packed and left.
She was an introvert and refused to communicate with other children. It seemed she had a goal for some reason to spend time at the camp unnoticed for some and then just leave. Even while eating, she was not comfortable. As we slowly began to communicate and develop friendship, she let down her guard and it seemed that ice began to melt.
I came and spoke with the girls. They told me about Ekhad Center and recommended I reach out to Natasha.
She approached me on the last day of camp and asked, "Natasha, what needs to happen with my parents for me to go with you?" I replied, "Thank God nothing needs to happen. If they're really having trouble, we can try to help. We can assist with medical needs, humanitarian aid, education, and with housing." She spoke with her uncle. He wasn't against her relocating, and after the camp, she moved in with us.
I like it at Ekhad. We live here with the girls. We are always laughing, talking, playing, and praying together. The center helped me to open up more. I was very quiet. I didn't interact with anyone. I was very introverted and felt like the spirit of death was following me. I dressed in black. I had a black hat that I wore and looked from under it at everyone. Then Natasha began to talk with me. She told me about spiritual things, and I began to feel better. She told me how to pray, and the more I opened up, the more I began to experience joy and listen to worship.
We have different clubs like soccer, chess, and IT, as well as other clubs to further develop skills. There is much to choose from according to your interest, so Nastya attends dance and theater. The congregation provides financial support and tries to help the children with their development. It is like home. We are feeding them, taking care of their medical needs, providing clothing, and so forth.
I began to attend dancing, but I was not good at it and did not particularly like to dance. But all the girls were attending and I began as well. I later realized that I really enjoyed dancing and began stretching my legs and arms.
Her grades improved a lot, and now she's not failing anymore. Now she's trying to go for the highest grade. She's working on theater and dancing. She sees herself as a beautiful girl and likes to dress up. It took more than a year to unravel her. I asked her to write a list of all the good things that she sees in herself. There were a lot of bad things too, and we had to remind her to focus on the good and remind her that, look, you're smart. Look, you're capable.
I changed a lot, and for the better. I know about God, and I believe in Him. I try and behave like a believer and help the other girls. For me, God is everything. He is my Father. I knew that before. Others told me that He is my Heavenly Father. He's more than enough. But earlier, I did not think deeply about this.
Nastya was introverted and didn't see herself in any other way. Now she is a different person. She has dreams and a different trajectory. She changed even on the outside. She interacts with other girls. It's easy to see how she tries, and it motivates us to work even harder.
Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who gives us bread from the earth.